It's the dawn of a new season at Genclerbirligi, and we've got transfer news, contract updates, Champions League coefficients, stadium news, and the Turkish Super Cup. Let's get started. Hello there my friends, and welcome back to the channel. Dodgy Gamer here with another episode 16 of Breaking the Big Three. We're at the start of our third season and we are defending champions. I still can't quite believe it. It's the eve of the new season, so what we're going to do in today's episode, first I'm going to give you a quick update on transfers and contracts and that kind of stuff. Then we've got a Super Cup game with Galatasaray. Then I've got some more updates to give you. Before then we'll look at the first league game of the season, which is Alanyaspor. So first, those transfers. I'll start with the outs. We shifted out a couple of fringe players who weren't doing much, Serginho, and then these guys, Alper Tatlısu, Zeki Yavru. Got rid of them. Few players out on loan, not as many as last year, because I've tried to keep some players. I think it's time to rotate them in the first team squad to improve their development. Polytechnic, we were glad to get rid of him, see the back of him. He left on a free when his contract finished. The main departure apart from that is Matt Mills. Now Matt Mills, you remember, I had a little rant about him towards the end of last season. We signed him on a free last August, late in the transfer window. Then from about February onwards he started asking for a new contract, saying he was a much better player than when he signed. He's 32. His stats are starting to plateau. Well, they've plateaued and starting to drop a bit. Wasn't an automatic pick for the team, so I don't know where that came from. He was on 4k a week. He was asking for like 11k a week. Now, this is one problem I've had. I've done a lot of contract renegotiations over the summer with those players whose contracts are going to expire in June 2020, so preempting that and getting the new deal signed up now. Because we won the league and because we're in the Champions League, the players are now asking for a lot more money. And they're asking for all these bonuses. Bonuses for if we win the league, if we win the cup, and then the strikers want, you know, money for 15 goals and 20 goals and 25 goals and so on. Matt Mills was no different. When I got his agent to speak to me again, suddenly they wanted 20k a week. I think that was all down to us now being in the Champions League. He did sack his agent, and then I negotiated with him directly, but he said the same. He wanted 20k a week. Talks broke down. Then towards the middle of the transfer window, he had a new agent. Again, talks broke down. He sacked that agent as well. But then again, he refused to negotiate with us directly himself, so I just let him go on a free. I thought, just get rid of him. So those were the departures. Now, coming in, I've got mainly youngsters and then one experienced head. I'll show you him first. This will be a familiar name to anyone who follows Turkish football. Selçuk İnan. We signed him from Galatasaray on a free. He's kind of fulfilling multiple roles here. So he has signed a playing contract. Now, as you can see, mental stats, fantastic. Technical stats are still pretty good. Physical stats, well, he's 34 and so on, so he's not going to be starting every game anyway, so this will do. Obviously then tutoring, he's going to be very good for that. I've already got him tutoring a youngster in the midfield role, and he's got that experience, 59 caps for Turkey. Also, if you can make it out here in the tiny font, he's agreed to be our under-19s manager, so we're covering a lot of bases there with this signing. Then some youngsters coming in. I did a bit of scouting in Africa. We had the African Cup of Nations in the summer, and there was some African Youth Championship qualifiers as well. And from there, I found this guy, Stephen Akpala, 18 years old, right back, but already his current abilities pretty good. He could be useful to us this season, and he's got the potential to be great. I love his physical stats. Those are really good. The only thing is he does need a bit more work. I mean, as a defensive fullback, he's fine, but as I usually play with fullbacks on support or attack, he's going to have to up his game a bit in terms of crossing and so on. Crossing in particular. But there's time for that. He's got time to develop. We might look into sending him out on loan, or we might rotate him in and out of our own team. Also a Nigerian, but we picked him up from the English leagues. He'd been released by Watford, Emmanuel Adebayi. So his current ability is a lot lower, but his potential's pretty good. So we'll look to loan him out. The only thing that comes into play here is the foreigner limits in Turkey. Super League, you can have 14 foreigners in the squad. The First League or Birinci League, you can, I think, have 3. But anything anywhere lower than that on the pyramid, and you can't have any foreigners. So might be a bit difficult to find a club for him, but maybe we can send him back to England or something. We'll see. As long as he can go somewhere where he can play. Then we got a couple of youngsters in, a couple of young Turkish guys. So this guy, I mean, he's not great, but he just adds a bit of depth in the centre of midfield. So we'll be using him on a rotation basis. And then this guy, 19 years old, a left winger. Now we are very well catered for on the left wing because, of course, we've got Haldeman, who was one of our best players last season and was voted the signing of the season in the Turkish league. And we've got Berke Inal, my young hotshot. But I'm always worried about the fact that Berke Inal's going to leave, or someone might swoop in for him. So I've got this guy in just in case. And he's got the potential to be very good, so one for the future here. So that's it. Not a huge amount of activity in the transfer market. One thing I have been finding difficult, and this is what I was talking about at the end of the last episode, when I said even though we've won a championship, we're nowhere near breaking the big 3. Last season, there were certain players, a certain caliber of player, when I bid for them, when I try to open contract talks, they'd just say they're not interested. Now that we're champions and we're in the Champions League, that caliber of player, they're willing to talk to us, but we're struggling to sign them because either they're asking for money that's way above what we can offer them, or they're willing to negotiate with us, but then ultimately they opt for Galatasaray or Fenerbahce, Besiktas, Trabzonspor, and so on. So those teams, particularly the big 3 Istanbul teams, they still have that pulling power over us from their reputation, from their finances. So we are not close to competing with them in the transfer market yet. So that's where there's still work to be done. Even if we win the title again this season and, you know, get 3 titles in a row, that's still going to be like that for a number of years. So we've got to chip away at it. Anyway, that's a look at the transfers. Now, I have had quite a number of players sign contracts. We had quite a drawn-out saga with the Hoff, but we finally got him to sign a new deal, so I'm very happy about that. We also got Berke Inal on a new deal. Shaban Ishuk is on a new deal. There's lots of these guys. I don't need to go through all of them. Some of them were very easy to sign. Others, it took several attempts and cooling off periods for their agents. But now I'm happy. Pretty much everyone whose contract is up in 2020 and I want to keep beyond 2020 has agreed to stay. There are a couple of others. Sabri Saraoglu, for example, his contract's up at the end of the season, but he's 35, so I've no intention of renewing that deal unless I get the chance to offer him like a player coach, much as we've done with Selçuk Inan. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into our Super Cup game. So this is being played at a neutral venue. We're going to Izmir to play in the Izmir Atatürk Stadium, and this is how we're lining up. So the Hoff in goal. Özgür Ortaç, now he was out on loan last season and I want to use him in the first team, so I'm giving him a start here. We'll see how it goes. He's only 18. I may regret this come the final time whistle, full-time whistle, sorry, but we'll see how it goes. Lucas Claro will be alongside him to provide that experience. Ahmet and Yusuf at right back and left back. Ahmet is now considered by my coaches to be an automatic pick ahead of Sabri Saraoglu, and on the left side Attila Turan is still recovering from his broken leg. Got Issa and Guidalay in the middle of the park, Milankovitch and Berke Inal. Again, Berke Inal, I want him to have this game, build his confidence up, and then Shaban and Ranti up front. So it's a very familiar team. I haven't put any of the new signings in, actually, I've just realised. I've got Selçuk Inan on the bench, okay, and I've got Fatih Turk, who is another player who was out on loan last season and played very well while he was out on loan, I got him on the subs bench as well. So let's see what we can do against Galatasaray. The main thing I'm worried about is I would have liked to add more depth to the squad, especially considering this first half of the season we're going to be playing Champions League football. Bit of news on Champions League, actually. I must remember to tell you after the game. Let's do the team talk. Tell them to do it for the fans. We're the underdogs. Let's cause an upset. Okay, Ranty like that. Let's have a quick chat to the defense. Okay, this usually works to tell them they've got what it takes. The midfielders like that. Okay, and a tunnel interview. Oh, so we suffered defeat the last time we met Galatasaray, so more incentive to this match. Alright, yeah. Squad depth is something that is a bit of a concern for me at this point. I wanted to bring more players in ideally, and there were a few other Turkish players that I was in the mix to sign. But the problem is, with the squad regulations, I don't have enough homegrown talent. I mean, I've got homegrown talent, but they're all under 21s who don't have to be registered anyway. So I've had to leave those spaces in the squad. So the players that I have are actually filling up the squad at the moment. If I bring someone else in, ooh, good chance for Galatasaray. Fantastic double save by the Hoff there. But yeah, anyone else I bring in now, I'm going to have to push someone out. And I don't really want to push anyone out at the moment. I'm pretty happy with the players I've got. We might struggle for depth as the season wears on, but I'm not expecting to get out of the Champions League group stage anyway. Okay, so Galatasaray have started this game very well, but so has the Hoff, luckily for us. Some very good saves he's making here. Alright, another corner for Galatasaray, and that one's gone over. Alright then, let's see what we can do from here. Can we get against air attack? No, not by the looks of things. We've only had one shot on target so far. That is not good. Okay, Isa's got it. Out to Milankovitch. Milankovitch cuts inside. Ooh, brings it over. Isa knocks it out wide to Ahmet Oğuz, who's entered the space left by Milankovitch. Pulled inside to Guy Delay. Out to Berke Inal, who gets to the byline. And look at that, Milankovitch with the header. Fantastic stuff. Our first real attack of the game, and we've scored. Alright, I like the look of that. And good to see Berke Inal getting the assist there and justifying his selection. Bit concerning that we've already picked up 2 yellows. Going to have to watch out for those guys. And a potential knee injury for the Galatasaray forward. Alright, it looks like we're going into the half with the goal advantage. Bit concerning stats-wise. I mean, we're doing alright possession-wise, but Galatasaray are just creating more than us at the moment. We did survive quite an early scare. So, what are we going to tell them? I'll tell them I'm pleased with how things are going. That's going to give them the confidence, because I did tell them that we're underdogs before the match, so then telling them don't get complacent, and those two never seem to mix well. Yeah, Champions League. So we are directly into the group stage, so that's good. But we got lucky because Turkey have slipped down the coefficients table. So from next season onwards, we're not going to have an automatic spot. Ooh, good effort from Galatasaray. We're not going to have an automatic spot in the group stage. We're only going to have one team entering that Champions qualifying round, and then the other Turkish teams are going to go into the Europa League. So this is the last time for the foreseeable future that the Turkish champions get to go directly into the group stage, so we got a bit lucky there. The group stage is going to bring a lot of money into the club, so I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, we've got an attack on here. Comes out to Ahmet Oğuz. What's he going to do with it? Okay, the Galatasaray player just backed off, and then he whipped the cross in, and Ranty scored. It's 2-0. Well, thank you very much. Okay. Let's just have a look at that again. I mean, he's not using pace or anything. This guy, whoever this guy is, just stops. Taha, he just kind of got near him and then stopped, and he's like, "Go on, mate, cross it then," and he did. Well, thank you. Okay, boys, let's concentrate. And okay, everything seems good at the moment. But I think I'm going to take Isa off. Just so he doesn't pick up some silly red card or something. So let's bring Selçuk Inan on against his old club. Let's get him in action. Alright, 15 minutes to go. Galatasaray seem to have given up a bit. No highlights. Alright, I'm going to put Fatih Turk on. But I'm going to make him a regular winger. Inverted winger isn't really his position. This is what I've dreamed of. Fatih Turk and Becca in our 2 Gentler youth projects. I always call them youth projects because I used to do the youth project thread on the SI forums. Get both of those guys on. And we'll have another time-wasting sub in a minute. Just don't score here, Galatasaray. If they score here, we're going to be under the cosh for the final 10 minutes. Berke Inal slides in, but it's gone wide. And safe hands from the half. Good stuff. Now, I'm thinking, what can we do to hold on to the ball a bit more? We'll tell them to retain possession. Stick to your positions. Drop the tempo a bit. Alright, and I'm not going to make my final sub just yet. I'm going to wait for more of a time-wasting opportunity. Alright, I think the time is right now to do that final substitution. So, who's going to come on? Let's put Mariki on for Ishuk. And we're just going to play this one out. Hopefully, maybe, let's cap it off with a 3rd goal. No, okay, there we go. Final whistle. And we get a celebration. We didn't get a celebration like this when we won the league title, but we get one for the Super Cup. There we go. The red and black ticker tape comes down. They're dancing on the podium. And I've got the trophy in my hands. Getting a bit of applause from the Galatasaray supporters. Thank you very much. A nice way to start the season with a victory in the Super Cup. So I'm going to tell the team that that was really special. Because it was really special. Okay, so there we go. Great start to the season. We've won the Super Cup. Fade to black and we'll be back for the first league game. Okay, so the Turkish Super League season is underway. But before we get to the match, some other little bits of news to share with you. So I mentioned some things about facilities, I believe. So I got most of those improved. We had the youth recruitment upped. We had the junior coaching get more investment. We've currently got work going on the training facilities, I believe, and the youth facilities. Oh, we've had it done. Anyway, they agreed to that. The data analysis facilities have been upgraded to poor. I've always found that a bit of a weird phrasing in Football Manager when something gets upgraded to a poor level. Stadium-wise, a little bit of news here. It's now, Genclerbirligi, as long as I've known the team, have always played at the Untitled Stadium in the centre of Ankara. It's basically a national stadium, although the national team never use it. And they share it with Ankaragücü, the other big Ankara team. Now, this season, it seems, in the Yenikent Ariaman Stadium, 15,000 all-seater stadium. It says it was built 2018, because I googled it. I couldn't find information about it anywhere. So that was a bit weird. It said our ground sharing agreement has come to an end and we're returning to this stadium, even though it's just been built. But then look here, future stadium plans. It says we're in the stage of planning permission and there's going to be a stadium with a planned capacity of almost 42,000. So I looked into this a bit. Now this was, I believe, present at the start of the game. I certainly didn't get any news item about it. Now Ankaragücü, who also use the Untitled, they're now sharing with Osmanlıspor, our Super League Ankara rivals. So what I think has happened here is that there has been a lot of talk over the past few years in Turkey about having a new stadium in Ankara and then using it as part of a Turkish bid for European Championships or something like that. So I think that this is something put into the game, like it's there at the start of the game, that the Ankara teams move out of this stadium in 2019, and a new stadium is going to be built, and then we're probably, together with Ankaragücü, going to move back in. Although I don't see any date on when that's going to happen. So, okay, bit of stadium news for you there. Okay, let's get into today's match then. So we're away to Alanyaspor. They are listed as the favourites. How quickly people forget. But because of that, I'm going to stick with the 4-4-2. I just need to make some changes there. I'll go with a quick pick. I should have set this up before starting recording, but I'll go with a quick pick and see what we get from there. I'm just going to make a couple of changes based on that, though. I want to bring in Marko Milankovitch. Haldeman's just returned from injury, so I'll keep him. I'll bring him on as a sub, a second half sub in place of Berke Inal. Yeah, Cheetos, I'm fine to bring him in, although I think the youngster Özgür Ortaç, he was alright in that game with Galatasaray, so I'm going to put him on the bench actually. Alanyaspor, he only played like twice last season. I have actually had a couple of loan offers for some of my younger players, for Aladin Okumuş and who was the other one? I think for Fatih Aktay. So I'm considering accepting the Aladdin one, and that's going to free up a slot in the squad, and then maybe I can bring in one more transfer. So that's something to look into. Let's make sure Fatih Turk is available. Oh, although he's not very fit, but okay, we'll just give him a run out in the second half, possibly. Okay, so away to Alanyaspor to kick off the Turkish league season. And then after this match, we'll have a look at the upcoming fixtures. Probably the next episode, I'm going to do one of the Champions League games. The draw hasn't taken place yet. Go out there and impress me. And Gerrit Holtman, due to his recent injuries, he's just been rested on the first day of the season. Alright. Ooh, bit of fancy stuff from Alanyaspor there. Someone starting the match off with a cheeky back heel. Alright, and I'm going to start it off with a cheeky bit of encouragement. Okay, nothing happening so far. Okay, coming up for 20 minutes, no highlights. Okay. This is our title defence. Well, if it starts off with a 0-0 draw away to a decent team like Alanyaspor, so be it. Are we going to go all the way to half-time with no highlights? No. Here we go, Milankovitch. Cutting inside, knocks it wide to Berke Inal. Okay, we're switching flanks nicely. Out to Shaban, chests it down. Okay, we've picked the ball up again. And Guidolay, oh, and Renty scores. Okay, Guidolay smacked a thunderbolt against the bar. And Renty was there to pick up the rebound. Okay, it was worth waiting for that one, I think. Look at that, great control from Shaban. Okay, the cross is blocked, but Ahmet's there to knock it wide. Guidolay takes a touch, boom! And then Renty just mops up afterwards. Fantastic. Okay, that seemed to have spurred Alanyaspor into life. Okay, are they going to do something here? Another long-range effort, but he's no Guidolay, what can I say? Okay, so 40 minutes of nothing, and now it's all action to finish the first half. Okay, here we go. Yusuf's bringing it forward. I say the pitches do look nice at the beginning of the season, don't they? Kind of get used to the state of them by the end of the season. So lovely and green, but that was not a good pass. You're not taking good advantage of the pristine playing service, Isa. Alright then. Oh, they've created some space for themselves on the flank. And are they going to score here? Yes, they are. Decent goal. Got to hand it to them. Decent goal. Okay, come on, guys. Concentrate. Make sure we get to the break at one apiece. Been a pretty even match so far. We've both had 5 shots. We've had more on target. Yeah, that was a good goal, though. We'll let them have that one. And there we go. That's the half. I think. Yes, there we go. Alright then. Oh, I see Guidolay gets the assist for making that shot against the bar. So what are we going to tell them? I'm happy with your performance so far. You've been unlucky. Yeah, I'm happy with your performance. Ooh, maybe I should have just said you've been unlucky. Anyway, let's tell the midfield. I have faith. Good. Same for you, strikers. I have faith. All right. Let's see what we get in the second half. Considering we're away from home, I'm not looking to make any tactical tweaks at the moment. I'm happy with how we're doing. I'm not much of a Tinkerman anyway. I did end up becoming a bit of a Tinkerman in my first season here, and we struggled greatly. Okay, so again, this is following a similar pattern to the first half. A long stretch with no highlights to speak of. Okay, they've got the ball back again. Ooh, they're just knocking those long and high balls about. And it's gone out for a throw-in. Alright. Let's make a sub. Who's coming on? Shaban Nishuk has not started the season well. That's got to be a concern. Okay, I'm going to take him off then. I'll put Mariki on and I'll give him a bit of a talking to after the match. Osgo Ortac, that's always a difficult thing. I don't want to put a youngster on in defence. Like, I'll put a young winger on when a game's tied up, but yeah, I'm going to leave him for now. I think I should just bring Kajar on for Issa, seeing as he's picked up a booking. Might want to swap him over with Guidelay, actually. Guidelay is not too hot in that role either. But we'll manage. Okay, let's make a late sub. Who else can we bring on at this point in the game? I'm going to put on a younger Fatih Turk on the right wing. And we'll encourage them. I'm not going to throw everything forward. League game, I'm happy with 1-1, to be honest. And that's what we've got. Alright, decent start to the season. So we won the Super Cup. We did not lose our opening match, so that's alright. I'll tell them now that they were unlucky. That didn't seem to have much effect either. Alright then, so let's have a look at the upcoming matches. So we've got Antalyaspor, Osmanlispor, Akhisarspor. We've got a fairly easy start to the season. It's not until late October that's when we get Galatasaray. Actually, it's one thing I have noticed. When we get to the business end of the season, we do have quite a tough run in. Look at this final run of matches. Trabzonspor, Bursaspor, Kashimpasha, Fenerbahce, Başakşehir, Besiktas. Okay, Karabükspor should be easy, but there's quite a tough run of games there. We've got two of the big three. We've got Bursaspor and Trabzonspor, who are just kind of outside the big three, and Kasımpaşa and Başakşehir are pretty good as well, so we're going to have to watch out for that. So I'm thinking we're going to come back for some of these Champions League games here. Either we come back for the first Champions League game, although it's only a couple of weeks away, and then follow that up with Göztepe, or we might go for one of the later ones, like we could do Galatasaray and then the Champions League game afterwards, something like that. We'll see what the draw's like. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Dodgy Gamer, and I'll see you again soon.